Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Wisconsin.
Oh, what a welcome sight it is. It is the Cactus League. We're set for spring training baseball. Our first telecast on Fox Sports Wisconsin this afternoon. It's the Oakland Athletics and the Milwaukee Brewers. And all of the familiar faces still here. Some fun in the sun, ready to get it started today as we get it going on Fox Sports Wisconsin in our first telecast. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us, man. We've been waiting all offseason for this, Rock. Here we are, a chance to get to see this team for the first time and enjoy what they're going to be able to do, the reigning National League Central Division champions. But all that's gone on this offseason, the pitching has really been the story with this team, and they're all back this year.
And that was the story last year. You know, Central Division champs, you can really pinpoint one thing, the starting rotation. That really set the tone for everything else. The bullpen was very good, in large part because of these guys, these starters, and they are all back from top to bottom. You can see the way they ranked it amongst a lot of the major categories amongst starting pitching. 73 wins, second in all of baseball, and the one guy that you can count on day in, day out, year after year, Gallardo. He is the guy once again. Who knows? He may be this opening day starter. That has not been determined, but 17 wins last year, as consistent as it gets all season long from the beginning until the end of the year.
Gallardo will be on the mound today. He'll get a couple of innings. They're trying to get him put together so he can possibly make an opening day start. Ron Roenicke's not ready to commit to that just yet, but we'll get a chance to see Giovanni today, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from him as well. Spring training baseball from the Cactus League. Some fun in the sun, and it's coming your way next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Degree day here in Phoenix, Arizona. We are in West Phoenix at Maryville Baseball Park. Well, it's 75 right now, but it's going to be 82, I promised. There is Giovanni Gallardo, former big league all-star and potential opening day starter for Milwaukee, and his first pitch to Jamile Weeks is upstairs, and away we go. Rock, great to be alongside once again. You're looking as handsome as ever.
Good to see you again. Now, we live, what, about 15 miles away? I didn't see you once all off season.
That was by design.
Is that by design? Okay. I get it.
We wanted to keep all of our content fresh.
Right.
Yes, this is the younger brother of Ricky Weeks, Jamile Weeks, a breakout season last year in his rookie campaign. Oakland coming in at 3-2. They have a couple more games under their belt than the Brewers at this point. There's Ricky. Ricky's in there as the designated hitter today, still nursing a sore shoulder. As Jamile lifts one to right, long run, and that'll bounce out of play as Nori Aoki is out there this afternoon. All right, let's check the Oakland lineup for you. We've seen Jamile Weeks. He's at second base. Colin Cowgill is the center fielder. Seth Smith in right. Johnny Gomes, the left fielder. Brandon Moss, the designated hitter. Then you have Chris Carter at first. Josh Donaldson at third base. Eric Sogard is the shortstop. And Anthony Recker is behind the plate. Using the designated hitter today, despite being at a National League park, the two managers agreed to it. And a diving step. Nice play. Conrad makes the play to Gamel. Out number one as Jamile Weeks is retired.
Well, when you have Jamile Weeks at the plate, you can't mess around. You got to get to it, get up, and make a throw. You can see how close it was, but a nice play by Conrad to start the game.
And you see how the Brewers line up defensively. Braun Gomez and Aoki in the outfield. Aramis Ramirez, Cesar Asturias, Brooks Conrad, and Matt Gamel around the horn, with Lucroy doing the catching. And there is Ron Roenicke in his second year as a big league skipper. What a first year it was. 96 victories. And a playoff berth, a division championship for Milwaukee a season ago.
And things looking very good going into spring training this year. You talked about the starting rotation intact from a year ago. That'll keep you in games. Starting rotation intact, just about a completely different infield this year.
Colin Cowgill deep to right, slicing foul into the Brewers bullpen. Not many spots available, Rock. We had a chance to visit with the skipper today. He's going to join us on the air a little bit later on in our broadcast. But, you know, for a manager to come into a situation that was very similar to last year, there aren't many jobs that he has to determine who's going to break camp. Maybe a couple of bullpen spots, and some utility spots perhaps.
Yeah, back end of the bullpen is pretty strong with K-Rod, and you got Axford, Cameron Lowe, Jose Veras. A couple of spots to be determined, but you're right. I mean, coming into spring training, even the starting rotation, no questions about that.
Gallardo zips a fastball right by Cowgill for out number two.
Well, Yvonne likes to establish that fastball, and you can see the good movement, little late movement as it catches a good portion of the plate. And Yvonne always puts together very good springs. Had a terrific spring last year. Somewhat flew under the radar screen with the acquisitions of Greinke and Markham. But it was Gallardo, the opening day starter, and he was the guy that anchored that starting rotation.
A 17-win season a year ago for Gallardo. And you look at his register, and he has a lot of experience. Gallardo, over 700 big league innings now, and you realize Giovanni Gallardo is 26 years of age. Just turned 26 at the end of February. And all that experience and the credentials now stacking up with a 17-win last year and an all-star appearance 2 years ago.
And still young and starting his 6th year with the Brewers. And not much to work on if you're Gallardo. It's just a matter of getting in shape, staying healthy. He has been working a little bit more on his changeup this spring so far. We'll see how that pans out.
Facing Seth Smith, coming over to the A's from the Colorado Rockies. Oakland has put together some pieces. They made a ton of trades this offseason. They traded away some of their best pitching, as a matter of fact. Seth Smith figures to be in a DH part-time outfield role. It's the left-handed version of a platoon with Johnny Gomes. They've also signed Manny Ramirez, who has a 50-game suspension to serve to start the season as Gallardo rips another fastball right by a hitter. Good start for Yo. 3 up, 3 down, a couple of Ks. Yeah, right out on the grass berm, soaking up the rays, got the blanket spread out. A lot of fans here from Wisconsin. They've made the journey to Phoenix. There's Ron Roenicke trying to put together a lineup, has a very distinct plan. We'll talk about that plan moving through spring training. And today's lineup brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Ricky Weeks, Carlos Gomez, Ryan Braun. In the middle of the order, it is Aramis Ramirez, Matt Gamel, and Jonathan Lucroy, with Brooks Conrad, Nori, Aoki, and Cesar Torres. Weeks is actually the designated hitter today. Gamel is at first base. And there is Tommy Malone on the mound, the left-hander for the Oakland Athletics. He'll get a couple of innings under his belt today for Bob Melvin. Spent last season with the Washington Nationals.
Did very well with the Nationals when he got called up in September. You saw that earned run average. Spent most of the year in AAA, was 12-6.
Ricky Weeks will lead off. Had a double yesterday. It was a night game early in camp this year. Had a night game with the Giants last night. Ricky still slowed by a sore shoulder. He said if it was the regular season, no question he would be playing. But it's spring training, it's early spring training. It's only the third game for Milwaukee, and so he just wants to give it a chance to heal up a little bit. Nothing serious at all. I spoke to him at length earlier today. He wanted to pass along to the fans that he's fine.
Well, it's not really affecting his swing because he took a Matt Cain fastball last night and ripped it off the center field wall in Scottsdale. So there's nothing wrong with that shoulder as far as Ricky Weeks swinging the bat.
Now Weeks suffering a serious ankle injury last season. Amazing that he was even able to return to the lineup. Certainly was nowhere close to 100% last year. Matter of fact, he says he's not 100% yet at this point. He'll be there by opening day, he feels. Took it about as far of a sprain as you can have without breaking the bone in his ankle. A little half swing, and he did not swing. Be able to check it. This was the injury last July against the Cubs, just trying to stretch out Rock and hit the bag the wrong way.
Yeah, that last leap as he tried to get to first base, and I tell you, it looked bad, and it was bad. And you know, Ricky was able to come back for the playoffs, but as you mentioned, certainly was far from 100%. The only holdover in the infield for the Brewers this year.
That's right.
A completely different infield except for Ricky.
Weeks was raving about Alex Gonzalez earlier today and talking about the left side of the infield, that newly rebuilt left side with Aramis Ramirez at third and Alex Gonzalez, who's a terrific shortstop. So he's still learning some of the nuances of his new Keystone partners. Weeks draws the walk, and the Brewers with a base runner on to start this one. Now, pitching is going to have to carry Oakland this year. They've traded away a number of talented young pitchers to get even younger.
Trevor Cahill gone and Andrew Bailey, their fine closer, gone. So you're right. I mean, pitching is going to be very important for the Oakland Athletics, and that's why you see guys like Tommy Malone getting an opportunity, based on what he did last year with Washington in September.
Here's Carlos Gomez. Oakland traded Cahill to the D-backs along with Craig Breslow. And one of their top talents, and Gio Gonzalez, traded away to the Reds. Andrew Bailey went to the Red Sox. So they've replaced some young pitchers who are coming up eligible for arbitration, just starting to make a little money in this game, to get even younger and really tap into some of their talented prospects. Weeks picked off.
Look out now. Did you guys break gloves? This guy's cool.
Staying in the rundown a lot longer than they thought. His younger brother runs him down. Just like in the backyard. Back in Florida.
I guess it's early in spring training, right? Not a very good rundown by the Athletics, and Ricky Weeks getting picked off. The big lead for Ricky. And Malone able to pick him off. Far too many throws for the Athletics. They'll work that out as spring goes on. But Ricky almost able to get back.
1 to 3 to 6 to 4 is how I have it here. A few too many throws and a big smile for Jamal. So wipes out the leadoff base runner, Gomez. And an 0-1 count off the end of the bat. Coming in is Cowgill. A lot of room to cover out there at Berryville Park. 2 gone in the inning. And the ovation starting to swell for Ryan Braun, his second spring training home game.
A big sigh of relief for the Brewer organization and Ryan Braun with the decision regarding all that went on this offseason. And Ryan handled it like a man, and it's all behind him now.
Braun did not play yesterday, was not on the traveling party. Certainly has endured a great deal, and not much of an offseason to speak of from a psychological perspective, but Braun is back at it, and probably the place he feels most comfortable right now, on the field.
Yep, well, everybody around the Brewers and Brewer fans very happy with the decision that was rendered, and it's back to baseball for Ryan Braun. You're right. I mean, it was a tough offseason for he and his family, the entire organization. Not able to really enjoy his MVP award this offseason.
Braun appealed a positive test, and it was upheld. And the disappointing part about all of that, the confidentiality process, and that's really at the heart of what has been a little concerning going through this process. I know for the players and for Major League Baseball, but Ryan is one of those guys who can handle a lot. He's been impressive in how he has dealt with a lot of the not just the scrutiny, but the news that has come up. It certainly is a big story across baseball. But looking forward to getting back out there. And I know Ron Roenicke is excited to have his MVP back and ready for opening day as Braun strikes out and the inning ends. Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By the Miller Lite aluminum pipe, 4 more ounces of that great Pilsner taste. And by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. Quite a change of scenery, huh? Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Miller Park. Still beautiful in all its glory, but sunshine of Phoenix, Arizona here in spring training baseball as Giovanni Gallardo is on the mound. His second inning of work, a couple of strikeouts in the first.
A nice mild winter back in the Midwest. I mean, you can't really complain about that winter, can you?
It was a good winter.
It was.
A lot of snow recently. Some March snow back in Wisconsin. Johnny Gomes, little bouncer over to Gamel. And one away. Gallardo has retired 4 straight. And if you're wondering, it is approaching 50 degrees in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to melt all of that snow.
Yeah, back in the old days at County Stadium, I'd have taken 49 degrees on opening day. Nothing wrong with that. A nice day.
Yeah, opening day is a month away. April 6th, we get it started today, and it's a little bit later start than normal, but it just falls in the window of the parameters when you can start a season. And it's going to be interesting this year. Actually, the minor league season will start before the major league season.
That is very unusual.
Yeah.
You know, usually the big league team breaks spring training, and then the minor leaguers have another week. Not the case this year.
Brandon Moss is the Oakland designated hitter. See the numbers last year in AAA. Big power hitter, Brandon Moss. Forgot his regular jersey today, so he's sporting number 97. Gallardo spinning a couple here in the second inning.
Yeah, that looked like a BP fastball, about 86 miles an hour. We were talking about trying to work on a changeup. That was the pitch that made him so good in the minor leagues. Hasn't used it too much as a big leaguer.
And a curveball swung on and missed. Lucroy secures it at first. Wow, that is an opening day breaking ball right there. And just his first spring training start.
Yeah, the first 2 strikeouts, fastballs, looking variety. That was a good curveball. That's the put-away curveball right there. Throws it a little bit harder than the get-me-over curveball. So that guy's been amazing in his 6 years as a Brewer. Nothing really ever seems to bother Gallardo. Never does.
Chris Carter at the plate for Oakland. That changeup has been a big topic for Gallardo, and we'll get a chance hopefully to hear from him after his outing today. He's been working a lot on that. It was such a good pitch for him, Rock, when he came up. I remember, we were here calling Gallardo's spring training games when he was just coming up through the minor league system, and that was actually one of his best pitches, the changeup. Lost it in the major leagues and has been able to get by with a breaking ball and a fastball, and you add a changeup and look out.
Yep, 3 consecutive years without the changeup with 200 or more strikeouts, 207 last year, and a lot of it because of that pinpoint control of the fastball and that good curveball.
Giovanni lives in Texas. He was born in Mexico. He was Mexican born but Texas raised. Lives in the Fort Worth area. Signed a multi-year contract with the Brewers last season. So if you're a Brewers fan, good to have a guy like Giovanni Gallardo you can count on as long as he stays healthy to make starts for you. There's a breaking ball that hung up there. That's a fair ball. And extra bases. Braun over to cut it off. Chris Carter into second base with a double. First hit of the ball game is an extra base hit by the Oakland first baseman.
Yeah, one got away from that time. He hung that one up. Didn't have much of a break to it, and Carter just barely able to keep it fair. You see that curveball just stayed right down the middle of the plate. Lucroy was setting up down and away, but just left it upstairs.
So a runner at second with 2 gone. Josh Donaldson takes a strike. By the way, that's Brian Runge calling balls and strikes today. Mike Everett, Bill Miller, and Scott Barry On the bases. There's the veteran umpire, Brian Runge. Umpires need their work too.
Yeah, they have 4 of them out here today. Usually in spring training, at least early, there's only 3.
Donaldson, Oakland's third baseman today. Athletics are hoping eventually to move into a new stadium. It's been a big topic of discussion in the Bay Area. San Jose is a spot that's brought up frequently. A couple of guys that are generating a lot of news with the Athletics. Manny Ramirez, of course, who's not with the team today but has been playing. And their new signee out of Cuba, Yoenis Cespedes. And he'll probably be ready to start games in a couple of days as Gallardo strikes out Donaldson. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings of work for Giovanni Gallardo, and that'll probably do it for him today. And Aramis Ramirez ready to lead off. He'll hit cleanup. That was a big spot to fill for Milwaukee this offseason, and what a find it was. See the numbers with the Cubs a season ago, or rather his career with the Cubs. A 294 average. They know he can hit, can certainly play solid third base. I think more than anything else, in talking to Mark Atanasio, Rock, the fact that Ramirez made the phone call, he wanted to be a Brewer. He wanted to play in Milwaukee, and that was the first step in getting that deal done.
And you thank Miller Park for that, I think, in large part, because year after year, I mean, Ramirez is a guy that, you know, every year is going to have 30 home runs, around 100 RBIs, and always got off to a very, very slow start at Wrigley Field. And because of the cold weather, he's not a cold weather player. He doesn't have to deal with that so much at Miller Park.
Well, aside what he'll do offensively, and nobody's going to be able to pick up the entire load that was left by Prince Fielder. That is a tough number to put together offensively, but Ramirez can certainly hold up his end, and the Brewers are much better defensively, they feel, this year. I'll be interested to hear from Giovanni Gallardo about that. Hopefully we're going to join him momentarily, but from the pitching perspective, Brewers are much better defensively, Rock, and that's going to hopefully limit the number of runs.
Yeah, that helps the earned run average. That, you know, limits, you know, base runners, and, you know, not as apt to try and strike everybody out when you have infield defense like the Brewers have been able to put together this year.
All of the discussion with Aramis Ramirez, Ron Roenicke said, who are we going to get to play third? His point was, who are we going to get to hit cleanup? That was the most important piece of the puzzle for the Brewers manager this offseason, as Ramirez sends one high in the air to center field, and Cowgill will make the play. One away in the second inning, and we're pleased to be joined in the Brewers dugout. There he is, Giovanni Gallardo. Hardly broke a sweat today. Nice work today, Giovanni. Just tell us about what your plan was coming in and what your execution was going out.
I think the first start, the most important thing is just go out there and throw strikes. That's really what I focused on, and, just fastball command.
Is the changeup, Giovanni, something that you're going to try and work a little bit more on this spring?
Yeah, of course, I think threw a couple there in the last inning. Just one of those things that try to work it into the spring games as the games go on.
Now, you starting pitchers, some type of a fraternity down there. You guys are outstanding last year, second in all of baseball in wins as a starting rotation. What do you guys do, sitting around the clubhouse trying to improve upon that?
Like I said, I think the biggest thing last year for us was, we help each other out, whatever it might be. We're out here watching each other throw, and we, take opinions from each other.
Giovanni with 17 wins last year, as we're watching Matt Gamel here. Gamel fouls it away. Back to that point we were making with Aramis Ramirez, and I'm interested to hear your take on the improved defense. From a pitching perspective specifically, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot. It's a great thing, especially to get a guy like Ramirez. We know he's going to hit. Just facing him throughout the past years, he's tough. He's a tough hitter. He's an all-around good ball player. And same thing with Gonzalez. He's going to do a lot of great things for us there in shortstop. And, all we have to do is get the ball on the ground, make him hit it on the ground, and I'm pretty sure those guys are going to get it.
How does it help you guys as starting pitchers, knowing that the back end of the bullpen for the Brewers is so strong with Axford, and you've got K-Rod, Cameron Lowe, now Jose Vera's coming in. Does that change your approach as you make a start?
Yeah, of course, I think for a starting pitcher, just handing it over to those guys in the back end of the bullpen with the lead, it's pretty much going to be a done deal. Axford, Frankie, did a great job for us last year. Frankie, when he came over for the second half, it was, just first starter. That's the only thing we look at. Go ahead and have the lead, whether it be by 1, 2, 3 runs, whatever it might be, and they're going to come in and close the door.
Giovanni, talk about clubhouse chemistry a lot as we watch Jonathan Lucroy here, and he lines one into left center. So Lucroy shoots the gap, and he will try for 2. The ball is bobbled in the outfield. And Lucroy with a 2-out hit in scoring position. But I'm interested, in clubhouse chemistry with new players, especially veteran players like Alex Gonzalez and Aramis Ramirez. What's your perspective at this? I know it's early. It was a lot of season to play, but what's your early signs of what you're seeing from them in the clubhouse?
You know what? They fit right in. Like I said, both of those guys coming over the first year here, and that just shows you the group of guys that we have in this clubhouse. They just seems like they've been here for a while, for a couple of years, and it's been a couple of weeks. But they're great. Like I said, they work hard and try to get better, just like all of us.
Visiting with Giovanni Gallardo, 2 scoreless innings today if you're just picking us up, and 4 strikeouts for Giovanni. Brewers with a runner at second and Conrad at the plate. And one last thing, Giovanni, just kind of take us through your plan moving forward. It's your first start. You've got that under your belt. What do the next few days look like, until you're back on the mound again as you start to work towards opening day?
I think getting the first start is always the first step, and then after that, pretty much try to get in that routine that I'm going to have throughout the season, normal, workouts, bullpen day off tomorrow, and then bullpen the next day, which it helps out a lot, when you're going to throw, and that way you can work your routine into it.
All right, Yo, thanks a lot for joining us. Great job today, and we'll see you down the road. We appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That is Giovanni Gallardo, 2 scoreless today. And here comes K-Rod. Frankie Rodriguez on the mound when we come back from Phoenix. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Well, as we play ball in Arizona, just a reminder that they are open at Miller Park, the team store. A lot of great stuff. You can get yourself all decked out for the upcoming Major League Baseball season, the team store. A couple of locations there, and they're open and ready for business for you at Miller Park. Say hi to all of our friends. They're watching the game today. As Francisco Rodriguez is on the mound for the Brew Crew. You see the numbers from last season. What a season it was. A trade from the Mets to Milwaukee. And K-Rod in for Giovanni Gallardo. And we also have Ron Roenicke joining us, the Brewers skipper, who was a big part of that transition for Francisco Rodriguez. Ron, great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us today. And we just heard from Giovanni Gallardo. I'm sure it's nice for you to see him have the kind of outing he did today.
Yeah, nice outing for his first one. And, he's working on some different pitches. I saw a great changeup from him against a left-hander, a swing and a miss. So that's encouraging.
Yeah, Ron, good season last year, your first season as a manager, National League Central Division champions. What do you do? What's the mindset going in to spring training for you as the manager this year?
Well, I think because of the good year and what we accomplished last year, we certainly don't want to sit back and just figure we're going to do the same. So we're trying to get after it again and try to improve every year that we can. I think with the personnel changes that we've had, we've filled in the holes that the guys that we lost, and everybody's pretty excited about this club.
Yeah, we were talking up here first inning. Not many changes to your pitching staff, and particularly not too many jobs up for grabs this spring.
No, there isn't. Certainly the starting staff, nice to have 5 guys coming back. We lose Saito and Hawkins out of the bullpen, so we did a good job of replacing at least one of them with Veras. And I think the other guys that we have in the organization that were up in the big leagues last year will be a nice fill-in to cover for the other guy.
Take us through the process with Francisco Rodriguez. I don't think anybody expected Rodriguez to be a Brewer this year. It worked out that way, but he did a great job for you setting up John Axford. Now, you know him well. I know you go back to your Angels days with him, but maybe compare the conversation you had with him last year versus the one you're having with him this year as he comes in as the established setup man and not the closer.
Right. Well, last year when he came over, I think he was a little bit surprised that he was traded somewhere that he wasn't going to be closer. He was great in the role we put him in. He was great with me and the rest of the guys. Everybody knows that he wants to be a closer, and he still does. But I think he was looking in the off season and what we accomplished here last year. This guy wants to win, and I think for him to be out there and maybe ending up with a team that isn't a contender, I think he enjoyed the time that we had in the city of Milwaukee. And I'm excited to have him back. He's what a great thing for a manager to have 8, 9, and he and Axford.
Man, how good. I know this is kind of a joke question, but how relieved were you when you knew that you had Ryan Braun in the number 3 spot in your batting order going into the season?
Certainly a huge part. You lose Prince. To lose both he and Prince would be pretty tough to figure out how we're going to fill those holes. So him coming back, I think everybody was certainly excited, not just in having his presence there, but what we would do if we didn't have him. And I think with Aramis coming over from Chicago, it filled that spot where Prince was, which isn't easy to do. And then we'll try to create more offense in the other spots.
Yeah, we're talking about Matt Gamel. I mean, you're very impressed about his work ethic and the way he came into shape this spring, aren't you?
Yeah, he's got a different attitude this year. He knows what's happening and knows he has that chance to be our everyday first baseman. And he worked hard in the off season to get ready for this. The attitude is a little different too. He's more serious this spring, and it's really nice to see. He's a guy certainly that's improved defensively at that spot when he was there last year when they switched him over, and he knows he's got this great opportunity in front of him.
Ron, as far as jobs available, obviously injuries can come into it, but all things being equal, what kind of positions are truly available to win a spot on the Brewers Major League roster in your mind at this point?
Well, we'll see how Corey Hart comes along and where we think he'll fit in.
Jamal Weeks with a base hit that's going to bring in a run, Ricky's younger brother.
Yeah, that's the wrong Weeks we want doing well. So. But I think everybody coming into the season, because we're pretty positive about what's going on, and there aren't a lot of spots, which is really a good thing. I think it tells you a lot of the strength of our club. But there'll be some spots with Corey maybe missing a week or so, maybe there's going to be one spot open for sure, and probably two if he's not ready for opening day. And then there's going to be one or two spots that between a handful of pitchers in that bullpen.
Weeks takes off. Lucroy right on the bag. Called by Ron Roenicke. Excellent play-by-play there, Skipper.
Great throw by Luke. He threw a ball the other day that I was really impressed on. I didn't think he had a chance. Gomez went in an inter-squad game, and he almost threw out Gomez. So that was good. Frankie there sped up a little bit, which was nice to give Luke a chance. And Luke, he had a slow start there throwing last year, and it all because of that broken finger that he had, and he's got a lot more confidence coming into the season.
Let me ask you quickly about Corey Hart. You brought him up, and the knee injury that required surgery, and actually the surgery was this morning, I was told. From what you've heard, how did the surgery go, and what is the expectation of him coming back?
Surgery did go well. Talked to Dr. Rosh about half an hour ago or so. And Dr. Rosh was pleased with it. He didn't have to do a procedure we were hoping he wouldn't have to do, which would have cost Corey a lot more time out. So I think we're still looking at 3-4 weeks with him. We'll see how it heals up. We'll see how we get his at-bats in and see if he's ready offensively. I'm sure he'll get his work in as far as running and defense. But of course, Gomez going to catch that.
Nicely done. All right.
So he's looking good and right on track for what we were hoping for.
Great. Hey, it's a pleasure to see you again, and thanks for joining us on the air. And I know Milwaukee Brewers fans are excited to get the season going again. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Manager Ron Roenicke. Francisco Rodriguez gets through the third. Messages are here. They're only on the billboard right now, but they'll be here in person shortly. Phoenix, Arizona, and we're set to get our first glimpse on Brewers television of Nori Aoki, the newest Brewer. What a talent he was in Japan. Gold Glove winner, batting champion. And getting a chance today, Rock, to play right field. And with the injury to Corey Hart, we just had a visit with Ron Roenicke. This will be a spot for Aoki to try to get as many reps as he can. There's no question he's going to be able to swing the bat, though. He's done it his entire life, and it's an interesting sign for Milwaukee. It's a little bit out of the box for the Brewers, what they typically do. It's a multi-year contract with Aoki.
Well, those Gold Gloves he won as a center fielder in Japan, and he had a start last night in Scottsdale against the Giants in left field, but Ron Roenicke wants to see what he can do in right. It's not as easy as just moving a guy from center field over to the corner spots. A little bit more complex than that. So he's probably going to get a fair amount of reps out in right field.
Little bouncer over to first, and Carter will beat Aoki to the bag. It was got to be a much different setting for him, not just being in the States, but the style of workouts with Major League Baseball, the way spring training is held. Ron Roenicke was talking about needing to get Aoki some at-bats outside of the parameters of, the workout structure, because he probably needs to feel like he needs to work a little bit.
Right.
Based on the schedule, Aoki was telling us through his translator that in Japan it's a ton of swings every day, a lot of reps in batting practice. He's Torres, another one of the newest Brewers, bounces out. 2 gone.
Hey, on Sunday, April 8th, all fans in attendance will get a 2011 Milwaukee Brewers commemorative DVD courtesy of West Bend, the Silver Lining, Capco metal stamping, and Delzer lithograph.
First promo of the year, huh? Well done.
And it was a new one. I've never seen it, and clean as a whistle.
You didn't even prep it? Didn't pre-read the promo?
Never saw it before.
Wow, what a promo. No spring training necessary for the Rock. Back to the top of the order, and Ricky Weeks. Well, the left-hander Tommy Malone has looked good so far. Just giving up the 1 hit. That was a double by Lucroy last inning. He's given up a hit and a walk. A couple of strikeouts.
Done a nice job keeping the baseball down. Looks like he's got a good changeup. Somewhat of a funky delivery. It looks like he'd be tough against lefties. Good opportunity to make this rotation in Oakland this year.
And he rings him up. Comes right after Ricky Weeks. A 3-pitch strikeout in a 3-up, 3-down inning. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. It is 1-0 Oakland, and joining us in the Brewers dugout is Francisco Rodriguez. And Welcome to another year of Brewers baseball, your first camp with the Brewers. I'm interested to know, no glasses for you this year, though. What's the deal?
What's up, guys? Well, I'm still waiting, People from the Aoki, they haven't sent it to me yet, so I just put some contacts and go out there. But hopefully I can have it next week and get it, start working with my glasses once again.
I think it's part of your intimidation, K-Rod, with the glasses.
Of course, yes, it is.
It's part of your look. Well, it's great to have you. How'd you feel about your outing today? An unearned run, you gave up a hit, but a strikeout as well.
Yeah, I feel fine. As far as a location, maybe one, maybe two mistakes that I make all over the play, but other than that, I feel fine. I just work on my pace game and just trying to stay back in the rubber and just let it go.
Manny Par now pitching for the Brewers. That one is whipped to the opposite field is Seth Smith. And Par on a good throw, but Smith is in there with a double to start this fourth inning.
Yeah, Frankie, nice surprise for the Brewers and Brewer fans having to come back to Milwaukee this year. Kind of a surprise somewhat, but walk us through the process.
Well, I mean, it just, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people were surprised, but I wasn't. I definitely feel pretty good about it to just come back here with the Brewer organization. Last year, you guys made me feel really, really good. Me and my family will really feel comfortable, and this is a great organization, which is a great group of guys. The fans are unbelievable, extremely good. So that's what we're looking for a place that I can feel comfortable with, and the way you guys, once again, you guys made me feel last year. That's why I made my decision a lot easier to come back once again.
It's got to be exciting each and every day. The starting rotation was tremendous last year. You figure the same this year, and with you and Axford, and you got Veras and Cameron Lowe, that's a heck of a pitching staff.
It is. I like our chances. The guys proved it last year. What they're capable to do. Unfortunately, we fell 2 games short to be in the World Series, but that's our goal once again this year, and hopefully we can stay healthy and get it done.
K-Rod, I hear a lot about Ron Roenicke, the kind of manager he is, the relationships that he builds as we look at Robin Yount, the Hall of Famer. But you know Ron. You've known him for a long time. You came up through that Angels system when Ron was a coach there for Mike Scioscia. Just talk about him a little bit, maybe then, and what you've seen from him now that he's a big league skipper.
Well, he's great. It's been like that since I know him, that I was in an Angel system since 1998. He's a great guy. He's a guy. He brings a lot of leadership to the ball club. He's a guy that will let you, play your game, and then if things not going the way, he will let you know what you have to do. But he's doing a terrific job to have that communication with the players and make us feel a lot of comfortable to go out there and relax and do our job.
Yeah, Frankie, we were talking to Yvonne. He's saying he's working on a changeup this spring to try and get that back. You're helping him out a little bit. Nobody has a better changeup than you.
Oh, well, I mean, Gallardo's another level. He's great. He's not going to have any problem. He just, he's such a good pitcher that I'm pretty sure that he's going to pick it up right away.
I'm guessing that you can't wait to get those contacts out of your eyes.
Oh, yeah, they're burning right now. I have no idea how.
I don't know. Maybe the redness of your eyes might actually be more intimidating than the glasses.
Actually, I got some red contacts. My contacts that I got on right now, they're kind of like orange, so make everything a lot brighter. So that's why my eyes get a lot of red. Yeah.
That's very good. You're like a wrestler, man. Nice. Hey, thanks for your time, K-Rod. Welcome back to Milwaukee. We're anxious to watch you pitch once again. Such a big part of the success last year.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. How about that, Rock? Orange contacts.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Well, if you don't have the glasses, you got to do something for the intimidation factor.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure you can see him at the plate, though.
That was very enlightening. I didn't know we were headed there.
I'd say, how about the way things turned around for that Brewers bullpen when Rodriguez showed up last year, trading deadline? I mean, night and day. Everybody was able to fall into their roles. Cameron Lowe started to prosper again, and the way everything came together, he and John Axford, everybody was concerned about the relationship between the two of them. Couldn't be better.
I think Francisco Rodriguez, at least what I had heard about him, is not what we saw when he came here. I think there was a lot of concerns, and let's be honest here. When he arrived in Milwaukee, That was a trade done during the All-Star break, remember. And he was gracious enough to join us, and he made it very clear in that interview before he pitched in a game with the Brewers. He said, look, I want to be a closer, but when I step on the mound, I'm going to compete, give it everything I have. Now, you hear that from players, but I think Ron Roenicke echoed that and talked about Francisco Rodriguez and what a gamer he is. And yes, he wants to be a closer, and he will be a closer eventually. But for now, you heard him, he's completely satisfied in the role that he's in and getting a chance to play in Milwaukee as Parra walks Chris Carter. So I think it's very refreshing to hear that.
Well, the whole reputation thing and the labels that are pinned on players can be dangerous at times because Rodriguez is not the first guy that has come over to the Brewers with that quote-unquote label of being somewhat of a problem, and it never really panned out. I mean, you heard somewhat of the same things about Betancourt last year.
That's right.
And never saw it, never developed. And so you just got to evaluate a player, the way he acts and he goes about his business as you watch him throughout the year. Make your own assessment.
Very few teams have the established back end of the bullpen like Milwaukee. It's such a luxury. Not only to have the ninth wrapped up with John Axford, who's proven to be a top shelf closer in the major leagues, but then to have Francisco Rodriguez, who can also close games if you need be. The Brewers never really got into one of those stretches last year where you needed a closer for 5 or 6 consecutive days like they had back in the Francisco Cordero days. But if that presents itself, then Roenicke has options down there. As Donaldson cuts and misses at a breaking ball from Manny Par.
Yeah, that's a nice changeup from Manny. One of his better pitches once he gets going. It's all about staying healthy for Manny, who's out of options. And the Brewers are going to give Manny a close look. Perhaps you can work him out of the bullpen. We'll see. But he's got to stay healthy. Hasn't been able to do that.
That's been a long road back for Manny Par. And the shoulder problems, and says he feels good. He's lost a lot of weight. And there's a swing and a miss. That is a strikeout to end the inning. So Parra punches out Josh Donaldson. The bat goes flying, and we're moving it right along here in Phoenix. The Brewers are coming up. You'll see Gomez, Braun, and Ramirez when we come back. Run leading Milwaukee 1-0 here as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the muscle coming up for the Brew Crew. Our carsoup.com email the booth question today. Mike in Pewaukee wants to know, what are your thoughts on baseball's new playoff format? Big news around baseball that they're going to add one more team, and it'll be a 10-team format. So you'll have 2 wild card teams play it off to go match up against the division winners. And
I know you're a big fan of that.
I am, actually.
As long as it's a one-game play-in, right? You don't want the playoffs going along too far.
No, I love it. We had a great discussion about it earlier today with Doug Melvin and Gord Ash, and there are pros and cons. But as Carlos Gomez leads off here, for me, here's my bottom line is baseball is a game that should protect its division winners. You go through a 162-game season, and you win a division, you should have some kind of advantage.
Right.
And for at least one series, at least the team who has the best record, it is going to protect the division winner better than it has in the past, because the two wild card teams will play it off in what is typically great television for a one-game playoff. Carlos Gomez knows all about that in his days with the Twins. But then the division winner will get to play that team as Gomez strikes out. So that means you're using a pitching staff, you're using a bench players, you're getting into your bullpen
right.
if you're in that wild card scenario.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, if you keep as many organizations, as many cities involved in a potential playoff run, as long as you don't lose the opportunity to have a last day of the season that we had last year, 2011. You remember those games last year? You know, the Red Sox games, and Tampa Bay and the Red Sox, and all the excitement that generated last year. But yeah, why not? If it's one day, a one-game play-in, I'm all for it.
Well, it is in place, and it'll be underway this season. Should create for some excitement. Braun's second at bat, he struck out swinging his first time up. That one got in on his hands a little bit. Carter makes a play for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. So Braun is 0 for 2. And Aramis Ramirez will bat. And joining us in the Brewers dugout is Manny Par. This is great. We're able to grab a lot of these guys after they work today. Manny, congratulations on a long road back for you. How's your health at this point?
Right now it's really good. It's been better than it's been in a long time, actually.
Well, you got your first outing underway. You've been able to get through this unscathed. Tell me about your offseason. I know you went down to the Dominican to pitch a little bit competitively.
Yeah, it was. I needed to face some hitters. There wasn't anybody down here. There weren't a lot of catchers. It was the off season, but they were working down there, and I got an opportunity to go face some hitters without having to play for a winter ball team and get thrown in the fire. So I went down there and spent 3 weeks, got to see what those guys do and gain respect for the way they grow up, and at the same time get a lot of work in.
Man, if you can hang there, we'd love to chat with you some more. We need to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. 1-0 Oakland from Maryvale Baseball Park. The Oakland Athletics today. Oakland leading 1-0. Manny Par kind enough to join us. I know you have ice waiting for you somewhere, I'm sure, but thanks for carrying over for the break. Now, we're watching Amari Rivas warm up here. I'm anxious to know how you're coming along and your perspective as you start this particular spring training. What looks like a relief role.
Well, you know, we left off talking about the Dominican, and I was able to get a couple innings down there and felt pretty good. And so I took a few weeks off, and I've been ready to go. I mean, like I said, I'm feeling really healthy, and this year is just completely different than last year. I mean, I was debilitated last year from one thing to another. So so far, this has actually been the funnest spring I've had.
Yeah, the injuries, Manny, has that altered your mechanics at all, or maybe your approach somewhat? Are you a different pitcher now than you were last year?
No, I'm not any different. If anything, I'm getting the ball down better right now. All the pitches that I missed today, they were down, which is okay. I'm fine with that. But no, nothing too different. I've tweaked a couple things, staying back. I mean, it's the basic things that pitchers battle with. But I really don't think the elbow necessarily had something to do with mechanics. I think it had more to do with the other issues I was having with my body.
Caleb Gendel in for Ryan Braun makes the play for out number 1. Manny Par joining us. A scoreless inning today. What, as far as expectations go, Manny, you've seen your velocity, you've seen how this ball club is shaped out, you know, moving into the spring, and as you get your feet wet now and start pitching, what are your expectations?
My expectations are to get guys out. As simple as that. You know, get ahead in the count, get guys out, and get out of there as quick as I can.
That was a long season, I know, for you last year. And when a player is injured, it's always interesting when they come back, some of the perspective that they have. Do you have any new perspective, having gone through an injury like that with the elbow and all the various other injuries you've dealt with?
Well, definitely. I've never missed a full season before. I've missed time due to other injuries, but missing a full season, it just kind of you learn what kind of privilege it is to be on this baseball field. How much of a privilege it is just to be able to play catch. And the time we have here isn't a lot, and we got to have more. I got to have more fun with it. So I'm trying to have more fun with the game.
All right, man. That's good to hear. It's good to see you again, and congratulations on your comeback. I know it was a long road for you, and now you're back and probably where you're most comfortable on that mound. We appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That's Manny Par. And it has been a struggle for him, and impressive that he can come back. It's not quite the Chris Capuano story, but it is similar in that you lose an entire season of baseball. And remember, Parra made one appearance in spring training last year and had to shut it down.
Yeah, it looked good for an inning and then was not able to come out and pitch again. But you're right. I mean, when injuries do affect players in different ways, and you get that perspective and you appreciate the fact that you're able to go out there and compete. And you never know, man. He might be that lefty down in the bullpen should he have a good spring. The Brewers right now, as it looks, there's really no lock cinch, that specialty left-hander down in the bullpen.
And that is an open position. Parra has great stuff. There's no question about that. Never has been a question about his stuff, his raw stuff, and the fact that he does throw a split-finger fastball as well to go along with his 90-plus mile-an-hour fastball. Here's a guy trying to make an impression as well, Amari Rivas. He and Willie Peralta, a couple of the prize arms in the Brewers minor league system. Had a disappointing year last year, and it started with a disappointing spring when there was a job open in the starting rotation. We're all anxious to see how Amari will bounce back.
Yeah, after a very good Double-A season in Huntsville in 2010, where he was 11-6. ERA just a little bit over 3.3. You know, 4.72 ERA and a 7-12 record. Well, the learning curve for Amari Rivas. Big jump between Double-A and Triple-A.
Anthony Recker at the plate for Oakland. And a chopper out to Isturis. Makes the play for the out. 2 gone.
Hey, on April 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Century Foods special coupon offer, which includes an entry form for the Ultimate Brewers Fan Experience Sweepstakes. That's compliments of Century.
2 up, 2 down for Amari Rivas here in the 5th inning. And the A's go back to the top of their order. Jamal Weeks. Weeks drove in the lone run in this game in the 3rd. It was an RBI single. That came against Francisco Rodriguez, and it was a 2-out RBI single as well. As Jamal looks like a guy who's going to be a staple in that Oakland lineup now. What a year he had last year.
He makes good contact. He can run. He'll get some infield hits and a very quick bat. Very short, quick swing.
Jamal played his college ball at Miami. Ricky very proud of his younger brother. Last year we saw a lot of Jamal. He was just getting a chance. He was a big prospect, just getting a chance to showcase what he could do in the major leagues. But a different manager now. Bob Melvin took over for Bob Guerin, and Weeks is part of their future moving forward. A little cue shot. Got to hurry here. And no chance to get the speedy Jamal Weeks. 2 hits today for the younger Weeks. He's 2 for 3.
Yeah, speed like that, contact like that will get you a 300 batting average. I mean, those are hits that will separate a guy hitting 300 and 280 right off the end of the bat. And Weeks able to beat it at first base without a throw. Little cue shot down there. Good play by Ramirez to pick it up, but no chance.
Jamal hit .303 last year. Played 97 games. Once he got his chance, he did not let it go. 2 outs and a man on for Cowgill. Takes a big cut. Colin Cowgill is 0 for 2. He smoked one into right center his last time up. Carlos Gomez tracked it down. Ball got up into the wind and carried all the way to the track.
This organization, the Brewers, are stocked with good center fielders. You've got Aoki, you've got Gomez, you've got Morgan, and you've also got Logan Schaefer, who made a heck of a play in center field last night.
Yeah, all 4 of those players above average defensive center fielders. Gomez is one of the best defenders in that position in all of baseball. We haven't seen a lot of Aoki, who's playing right field today. But Aoki won 6 gold gloves in Japan. So that tells you all you need to know about his talents defensively. Didn't miss by much, did it?
Yeah, a little bit of late movement, a 2-seam fastball from Rivas. But they can all run him down out there in the outfield.
What's the biggest challenge between center field and right field? Ron Roenicke was making a big point about that earlier today with Aoki.
Well, the angle off the bat, you know, most of the time when you're in center field, the ball's going to be pretty straight to you. There's not going to be a lot of slice unless they're in the gaps somewhat. You know, you talk to Robin Yount. Remember when Robin moved from shortstop to the outfield? That was way back when, and I always use Robin as an example.
Pitch out, but a low throw. Weeks has always been a third. It'll be a stolen base and an error. Lucroy cut him down in the 3rd inning, but not this time. A steal and an error, and Weeks ends up at third base.
Yep, tried to be a little bit too quick, did Lucroy, and wasn't able to square himself up. Looked like a pitch out, not a very good one. You want that pitch out a little bit more off the plate and a little bit higher. And because of that, the arm drops and into center field, and Weeks with good instincts able to get to third base. You want to get that ball a little bit further up and away. Better for the catcher to handle. Yeah, but Robin Yount, said that, the corner outfield, he was playing left field and very, very frustrated in that he couldn't figure out the slice and the hook on the baseball. Playing the corners was a problem for him. And that's the biggest adjustment that a center fielder makes, having to deal with the corners, all those odd angles down the lines. You don't have to deal with that in center field.
Full count to Cowgill, breaks his bat, barehanded. Rivas makes the play, and the inning is over. Good inning for Amari Rivas. 1-0 Oakland. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Oakland leading Milwaukee 1-0. The Brew Crew coming to bat. Matt Gamel will lead off. Joining us in the Brewers dugout is Aramis Ramirez, the newest Brewer. Great to have you, Aramis. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast, and welcome to Milwaukee.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us about the process as we watch Gamel hit, the process in free agency, and the contact, the communication you had with the Brewers executives, and you wanting to play in Milwaukee this year.
Well, I went up to LA and to meet with another team, and then the next day the Brewers scored, and they want to meet me out there too. So I stayed there for a day and meet with the owner and the manager, and I like what I saw for them.
Aramis, how important of a factor is Miller Park for you early in the season? You don't have to deal with the cold weather so much.
It's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be different. Played for a long time in Chicago. It was cold, windy. So I'm looking forward to.
Is there something about the National League Central that you really like, or is it just a coincidence? The Pirates, the Cubs, and now the Brewers.
It's just a coincidence. But I like the Central. I think it's a good division. Spent my whole career there, and hopefully I'll finish my career there.
So you go from the Cubs to the Brewers, and I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on the Brewers players from this perspective now. You know, you've built up this idea of what these guys are from an opposition standpoint, but how about now that you're in the same camp?
It's great. I mean, everybody here is excited to be a part of this club, and I just want to fit in. And you can tell by the way they play that they have fun, and I'm just looking forward to fit in and do my job.
I know Brewer fans are hoping that you're going to be as productive for the Brewers as you were against the Brewers. What was it about Milwaukee pitching that had you so much success?
I don't know. I can't really pick on one team. I just, anybody I face, any opposing team, I try to do my job, and it happened that I have success against the Brewer over my career.
But swinging a bat in Miller Park's a fun thing. They say it's a good batter's eye, and ball carries pretty well.
It's a good place to hit, I'll tell you that. But I just want to be. If I stay healthy, I should be okay. And hopefully, I'm working hard this spring to do that.
Visiting with Aramis Ramirez, the newest Brewer. Tell me about the left side of the infield. We've talked a lot about your offense, but you and Alex Gonzalez certainly improve things defensively for the Brewers over there. How well do you know Alex? I've seen you guys spend a lot of time together. Talk about that relationship a little bit.
Yeah, I know Alex for a long time. I mean, he's been in the league for a long time, so do I. We play against each other. He's one of the best shortstops in the National League defensively. And I think we're gonna get along well. We're gonna do well at all.
One of my memories of you playing third base was at Miller Park. Probably one of your worst days when you injured your shoulder. What's your health like these days? How did that shoulder heal? Does it give you any trouble anymore?
No. After that was the last time I got into discomfort. When I got hurt, I spent a month and a half in the DL. And I came back, and I never feel anything after that. I have to work hard, though, I tell you that, because that was the third time it happened. So I have to work even harder. But thanks God, everything went well.
What's next for you, Aramis, as you try to get ready for the season? How many at-bats you think you need?
I don't know. I don't really have a 50, 60, 70. I just, whenever I feel good, I feel good. I'm looking forward to live here in good shape and healthy.
All right, man. You look good in the Brewers uniform. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
That's Aramis Ramirez. 1-0 Oakland. A's are coming up. We head to the 6th. Fox Sports Wisconsin, Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Delighted to have you with us. Tyler Thornburg is the new Brewer hurler, and a guy you're going to be interested to see today. He's not a big guy. He put up a terrific season last season at Single A. 2 locations last year. In the Midwest League and the Florida State League, he was a 10-game winner. It's hard to win double digits in the minor leagues. And he has opened up some eyes in camp this year. Tyler Thornburg. Got a couple of defensive changes for you. We'll give you those as we move along. You see the new catchers. Martin Maldonado back behind the plate. And over at third base is Zealous Wheeler. So if Martin Maldonado is catching, that must mean Jonathan Lucroy is out and available. And if I'm hearing him breathe as we speak. Jonathan, are you joining us in the dugout as you see a base hit into center field?
Yeah, guys, I'm sitting right here. Breathing a little hard from that last AB, but
that was good. Our dugout correspondent today. Thanks for joining us, Jonathan. I'm sure as you get settled in your career and a full season under your belt, tell us about your perspective and your experience now as a big league catcher.
You know, going on our experience last year, what happened? You know, it just the experience, you know, opens your eyes to a lot of things, and I think that, you know, my experience last year in the playoffs and everything is just going to help me personally this year, and hopefully that experience will carry over, you know, into some big game situations when I kind of know what to expect. So hopefully that happens for us.
You know, Jonathan, a couple of years ago you started in Double-A, and this year you have your own bobblehead day at Miller Park. I mean, walk us through that. A lot's happened to you.
People must be running short on scarecrows or something, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's pretty funny. I didn't think that happened for about 5 or 6 years, but I don't know. Someone must have been getting desperate up there. So. But, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, the one thing that we remember from last year, amongst all the other things that happened, you're blocking and throwing. What an improvement from the first half to the second half. How much did that broken finger, you know, affect you in the beginning part of the season?
You know, I'm not one to make excuses. And, Rock, you know me, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's the reason why I didn't do it. But it definitely didn't help, I'll tell you that. But, you know, I sat out kind of all spring training. I didn't get to throw an early game speed a lot. So I think once I got, you know, my spring training was almost the first month of the season. And so that really, for me, you know, that really took me a while to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. And hopefully this year I could stay healthy the whole time and, you know, be ready for opening day.
Jonathan, there's a lot to talk about with this ball club. And Rock and I started our broadcast today talking about the pitching, and obviously you are tied in very closely with that pitching. And from your perspective, what is going on with the starting pitching? Are you pleased with where everybody is? You caught Gallardo today. He looked terrific. Just give us an update on what you're seeing from your side of the pitching staff.
You know, it's nothing. I don't think anything's changed from last year. I mean, we have one of the best pitching staffs in the big leagues last year, and this year I feel the same way. You know, we lost a couple bullpen guys, but other than that, I mean, we gained some guys too. We got young guys coming in here that are studs. This guy on the mound is one of them right here. So, you know, it's like I said, I'm not too worried about it. I'm actually really excited. I think our team is actually better this year.
What can you tell us about Tyler Thornburg as we watch him pitch?
Well, you know, I'm not one to judge by bullpens, but he probably threw the best bullpen I've ever seen. When I caught him the other day, the first time I ever caught him, it was one of the most impressive bullpens I've ever seen.
Wow. And specifically, why is that? Just location?
Everything was down in the zone, painted bottom of the zone strikes, everything. And he was throwing 3 different pitches and hard. I mean, he sits 94, 95. He can push up to 98 when he gets excited. So, I mean, he's got some good stuff. I mean, this kid had a bright future ahead of him right here.
You know, Jonathan, how much has the game slowed down for you in the last year or so as you go into spring training? I know, you know, the learning curve as you get to the big leagues, it can be overwhelming, but how has your preparation changed now as opposed to when you first came up?
Well, I mean, I think it's just kind of getting past all the extra information that isn't necessary and diving into the information and the scout report stuff that really matters. I think, you know, you don't want to get too tied up in numbers. And you don't want to get, because you'll confuse yourself. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we have to look at. And I think just picking and choosing what's the most important is the best thing. And the most important thing is using the pitcher's strengths. That's the most important thing. So, you know, when you break it down and try to keep it simple like that, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it looks like you're swinging the bat. First couple of games, you've been swinging the bat pretty well.
Just trying to hit the ball hard somewhere, man. I've had a couple run into my barrel, so hopefully we can keep that going.
Nobody buys that. The humility of Jonathan Lucroy. Well, we'll let you get going here. We appreciate your time today, and good luck this season. We'll see you later this spring, of course, on Brewers television. We appreciate your time, though.
All right, thanks, guys. You guys take it easy.
Jonathan Lucroy, always a fan favorite and really coming on strong. You know, you talk about catching in the Brewers system, and you got to go all the way back to Mike Matheny for the last developed catcher that surfaced in the big leagues as a starter. And that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, Rock, you being a catcher, you certainly understand the position very well and appreciate the fact that when you develop your own catcher and he turns out to be the kind of player Lucroy is, that's a pretty good notch in the belt for any farm system.
Yeah, remember how quickly Jonathan was rushed up to the big leagues. You know, the injuries that had taken place. You know, Greg Zahn injured. He was forced to come up.
Yeah,
he really
right.
didn't have anybody, any mentor as far as a player to help him along. And his progress has been very good. And I really owe a lot of that credit to Rick Kranitz, the way he has simplified scouting reports and the information that he gives to these guys, the catchers, the pitchers. I think he has done a nice job of getting them a sense of what is important, what is not important.
Well, Lucroy is a guy that was always known as a hitting catcher through the minor league system. He put up big numbers. And Ron Roenicke, when you ask him about Lucroy, his defense has improved. He really works at it. He's a good handler of pitches. His pitchers give him a lot of credit. But Roenicke says now that he's comfortable in that part of the game, you're going to see his offense take off.
Right.
He was a really tough at-bat last year. It's a good guy to have down at the bottom of the order. He can hit the curveball, which not a lot of guys can do. And that'll keep him in many lineups for years to come as long as he's catching.
Yeah, Jonathan Lucroy, George Kataris, who will no doubt be catching Randy Wolf again this year. That was a good plan that the Brewers put together. Ron Roenicke. You know, George pretty much knew when he was going to play. And on the flip side of that, it's important your starter kind of knows when he's going to get a day off. You can plan that out, and it really makes a big difference.
Full count to Brandon Moss with a runner at first and one away. Runner goes, and a line drive foul. Just got out ahead of it. Might have broken his bat. I'll echo what Lucroy said about Tyler Thornburg with a quote from Niger Morgan. I was standing near the batting cage. Thornburg was doing a simulated, live BP simulated type game, and Niger was standing by the cage. He turned around and he goes, "Wow, this guy's stuff is electric. He's got jump at the end."
Yeah, not only does he throw hard, but it has some movement, late movement.
Late life. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
A little bit of giddy up to it, and tough guy to catch, tough guy to hit. That's what you want.
The Brewers are very excited about their young pitching, and I know Jonathan Lucroy mentioned that briefly, but guys like Thornburg and Willie Peralta, Gendel staring up into that big blue sky, lost it. It's tough to see out here, and that's going to fall. And that'll be a sun double for Brandon Moss. Well, you knew Gendel was in trouble. Not a cloud in the sky on a bright sunny day, and that's the tough sun field here at Maryvale. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question. Tommy in Milwaukee wants to know, how do you see the NL Central shaping up this season? It's going to be good. It's going to be a good division. I think the Reds are the team that, I'm not going to say nobody's talking about because we're just starting, but the Reds put together quite a roster.
Yeah, very disappointing year for the Reds last year. Their starting pitching fell apart, and they fell apart early and never were able to recover. But the Cardinals are going to be tough again. The post-Albert Pujols era, post-Tony La Russa, Mike Matheny, the manager now, and I think you're looking at, once again, Brewers, Cardinals, Reds. I think that's the way it's shaping up.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. Good division. Adam Wainwright coming back with St. Louis will be a big key for the Cardinals. There's that fastball Lucroy was talking about. He works at the bottom of the strike zone, and from a hitter's perspective, talking to some guys who have faced him, it looks like it's going to be a ball. but it stays at the bottom of the zone.
And watch Maldonado, the way he catches that baseball. Those are you call your knuckle busters. Those are the ones that can knock your thumb off. That late movement down in the strike zone.
96 miles an hour with a fastball. Thornburg's not a big guy. Just a shade under 6 feet tall. He's not your prototypical power right-hander. And the Brewers certainly have a couple of those guys in their system with Peralta and Taylor Youngman, first-round pick from a season ago. Jed Bradley's been slowed a little bit with a groin strain, so he'll be delayed a bit. But I tell you, you go around the Brewers camp and talking to Ron Roenicke and Rick Kranitz, they love this young pitching that is close to being big league ready.
Makes a nice circle with that arm, taking the pressure off the shoulder and the elbow, and really drives hard off of that pitching rubber. Using the legs, the big muscles.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Carter, second and third for the A's. And he's a little late on that one. You see a little Tim Lincecum in Thornburg at all? Not quite as drastic, but
he doesn't drop down quite as much as Lincecum. Of course, nobody does really. Lincecum, when he drops that arm down, he's almost touching the dirt. 6 feet, 188 pounds, and I would guess that's a bit exaggerated.
With spikes on. Got him. Thornburg with a fastball on the corner, punches out Carter. There's some of that location that Lucroy was referencing, right on the black.
Yep, straight over the top and catches the outside corner with a little bit of late movement, not much. And Maldonado frames it nicely. I tell you, I like Maldonado behind home plate. I mean, he can catch. Catch and throw, block the pitches in the dirt.
Maldonado is, at this moment, would be one of the premier defensive catchers in the major leagues, according to those who have seen a lot of him, talking to some of the scouts. And he hit last year. That's what has everybody interested in his future now. He's turned into an offensive threat as well. No question about his defensive skills.
Good arm, quick release. Moves around well behind home plate. Likes to take charge for a young kid. Not easy to do when you're catching some of these big leaguers.
Brewers pitching today, 7 combined strikeouts. Gallardo with 4. K-Rod had 1. Rivas with a strikeout, and now Thornburg with a punch out. Second and third with 2 away. See how Thornburg gets through this inning. Donaldson, a bouncing ball. It's Torres. Tyler Thornburg is going to get out of it. No. Low throw, and 2 runs are going to score. As Torres has had his troubles today defensively. That is going to be his second error, and it's going to allow 2 runs. Thornburg should be long out of this inning. Fly ball that was lost in the sun, and now an E6.
Yeah, now all 3 runs have been unearned today. Tough hop over at first base. One of those in-between hops. And Gamel not able to handle it.
Well, the Brewers are much improved defensively, but Torres has had his difficulties this afternoon. And Ron Roenicke is going to be forced to make a pitching change here. Don't want to get too deep into that pitch count. Thornburg will exit, and McClendon will enter. We'll take a break. Back in a moment from Phoenix. Today, a reminder, Sunday NASCAR heads to the Diamond in the Desert. Defending champ Carl Edwards and Daytona 500 champ Matt Kenseth. They'll lead the world's best drivers into Vegas. Fox Sports proud to bring you exclusive coverage of the Cobalt Tools 400 live from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Sunday at 1:30 Central. The Diamond in the Desert.
Right. Did you see the Daytona 500?
I didn't see it.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And Monday night. That was a good idea.
Had weather problems there at Daytona.
Right.
Mike McClendon is in the game for Thornburg, trying to get through this 6th inning. 2 errors by the shortstop, Cesar Torres, have led to all 3 Oakland runs. There's a run in the 3rd inning, and then 2 runs just scoring here in the 6th. Yeah, Thornburg gave up 2 hits in this 6th inning, Rock. One of those certainly should have been played, a fly ball lost in the sun. He looked good today with a strikeout.
He did. He threw well, throw strikes. And that's Arizona baseball spring training. And balls lost in the sun quite a bit.
Now McClendon facing Eric Sogard, trying to get through this 6th inning. Going to get a chance to see Nori Aoki lead off in the bottom of the 6th. He's still out in right field. He'll get his 2nd plate appearance of the day. That one's hit well into left center. Gomez will cut it off on his way to 3rd base. Goes Donaldson, and the A's keep it going here in the 6th. That's the 3rd hit of the inning. Sogard with his first hit. And McClendon will face Anthony Recker. All of the runs unearned. Thornburg goes 2/3 of an inning with 2 hits and a strikeout. Giovanni Gallardo started. He was impressive in 2 innings. Just 1 hit, no walks, 4 Ks for Gallardo. Threw a couple of good breaking balls. He used his changeup a little bit today. The skipper was pleased with his outing. On the ground in the hole as Torres knocks it down to 2nd and not in time. Another run will score. So 4-0 Oakland. Rock, what'd you see from Giovanni Gallardo today?
Well, a lot of strikes, 30 pitches overall in his time out there. Most of them strikes. Good command of the curveball. He's able to put his fastball on the corner. You saw him try and throw a few change-ups. That's going to be a work in progress throughout the spring.
Ron Roenicke has said he's going to back off the workload a little bit for Gallardo with the amount of innings that he had last year. Same with Sean Markham. Markham's still down with soreness in his pitching shoulder, and they have set him back a few days. Markham will not start Saturday, which was the original plan. So I was talking to Gord Ash earlier today, and Gord is the assistant general manager and handles the injuries as well, and he said that Markham experienced the same problem last year. Once you get going and you start to get the workload that a major league starting pitcher has, and that soreness is going to set him back a little bit. Jamiel Weeks in the air as Torres, fighting the sun, makes the play. Inning over. 3 runs in for Oakland, however, and it's 4-0 Athletics. Fox Sports Wisconsin. And you know it, they're in action. Clements Racing Sausages, entertaining the masses here at Maryvale Baseball Park. Boy, not close at all, huh?
Well, they need spring training too, the Sausages.
Strong performance by the dog today. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? Brewers and the Angels, the Albert Pujols-led Angels, March 17th. March 20th, it's a matchup against the Dodgers, and then March 30th against the Dodgers. So these are televised games for the Brewers on tap. Of course, we'll be with you on the webcast tomorrow.
Glendale.
Is that where we're headed?
Yes, it is.
Get an early start.
Mm-hmm.
New pitcher for the Oakland A's, Graham Godfrey. They've pitched well. Tommy Malone went 3 scoreless. Ryan Cook retired 6 in a row. And now it's Graham Godfrey facing Nori Aoki. Puts it right by Aoki. So far today, Nori is 0 for 1. His only at bat came in the 3rd inning. It was a little bouncer to first. Aoki on the ground. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, on Saturday, April 7th, the first 20,000 fans, 21 and older, will receive a pen schedule courtesy of Potawatomi Bingo Casino.
Good day to be out on the grass berm. Got the berms above both outfield walls. Always a popular spot. Cesar Astúriz, switch hitter. He's had a rough day defensively today. Slated to be Brewers' utility candidate. Can play second, short, third. That is a loss the Brewers trying to recover from. Craig Counsell, valuable in that role. Now a suit.
Now a suit sitting in the general manager's box down the third base line in the press box. I've been giving him the business from time to time.
Yeah, I said, you're such a suit now, Craig. And he goes, that's what happens when you can't hit anymore.
There he is, Doug Melvin, Gordash, and Craig Counsell.
I'll give him this. He's been putting in a full day. I mean, there's no ceremonial situation here. He's
throwing BP.
He's the first one here. He has an office. He spends a lot of time in it. They're doing a lot of scouting. He has taken on this responsibility with much eagerness.
Yeah, he's a baseball guy. He's going to help the Brewers a lot. He was one of the leaders in that clubhouse the last couple of years for the Brewers. And very respected, well respected amongst baseball people, Craig Counsell.
Astúriz draws the walk. That's a tough spot to fill, though. And Counsell certainly had his troubles offensively, but you know, to find a guy who can play short along with second and third, you can find a lot of guys who could play third and second, but that piece to play shortstop, that's what every team is searching for, and that's why a guy like Cesar Astúriz can continue to have a job at the major league level. It's a rare commodity.
But I know how it feels that first spring training when you decide to retire, that you sit around and watch, and it's got to be a lot going through the mind of Craig Counsell as he sits up in that press box watching his old teammates go at it in spring. It's a tough thing to get through.
Well, we're back to the top of the order. Ricky Weeks, his third plate appearance. He walked in the first, struck out looking in the third inning. Still bothered by a sore shoulder. Ron Roenicke told us earlier he expects him to be in the lineup at second base tomorrow. Weeks getting a chance to compete with his younger brother Jamil, who was taken out of the game. Jamil got his 3 at-bats in, had a couple of hits today. The younger Weeks was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Had a stolen base. One gone and 2 strikes on Weeks. Popped him up. And Cowgill hauls it in for out number 2. The Packers didn't use the franchise tag on quarterback Matt Flynn, but why? That's the question. Paul Immig looks at the reasons. And what's next for free agent quarterback Matt Flynn? FoxSportsWisconsin.com. You can check it out. Aaron Rodgers was in Brewers camp last week, shooting a commercial. Haven't seen the contents of that commercial yet. Keeping it under lock and key.
Yeah, popular amongst the ad agencies, isn't he? Aaron Rodgers, why not?
Carlos Gomez. And right off the end of the bat. Nice play over at third base. Donaldson. And the A's are out of the inning. Been a rough day offensively for the Brew Crew. 4-0 Athletics. Wisconsin is presented by the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. By Mills Fleet Farm. We love it. By Cousins. Have a better day at Cousins Subs. Cousins Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day. And by Syndex Food Markets. When you see the big red bag, you know it's quality. There's a look at the team store back in Milwaukee. They're open, ready for business, and need to get you all geared up for the baseball season. Say hi to our friends at the team store today. They're watching the ball game. McClendon back on the mound. He had to come in the 6th inning. Brewers had some defensive problems in the 6th. And Wes Timmons greets him rudely. First pitch swinging, a base hit for the new Oakland second baseman. Well, we're joined by Matt Gamel now. He's in the Brewers dugout. Great to have you with us, Matt, and I'm sure it feels good to be on this side of the fence where you get to start the game and then you get to leave early, as opposed to the way it's been all these years, huh?
Yeah, it's nice.
How you feeling, man? You look like you're in great shape.
Feel good, man.
How's the transition been for you, Matty, from third base over to first base so far? I know you played over at first base last year, but how you feeling? You feel comfortable?
Yeah, I like first base. So, just working.
What kind of things you've been doing with your stroke? What are your impressions of Johnny Narin, the Brewers' new hitting instructor?
I like him. I think he's going to be good.
Does he have a particular philosophy as far as hitting goes?
A lot of the same stuff that I've been working on. So, it'll be good to go with someone that, is teaching the same stuff.
Now, Matt, I know you're excited about the opportunity that's in front of you, but you played first base all last year. Don Money spent a lot of time with you in that regard. What's been the biggest challenge? I'm imagining cutoffs, but just some of the things that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis trying to learn a position.
Just knowing where to be in every situation. And I think that'll come with time.
It's going to be important for you and Ricky to get a lot of playing time together in spring training once Ricky gets back out on the field to understand what his range is, how far you need to move over, and then ultimately your first responsibility is get back to first base.
Yeah, exactly. I talked to Rick about that, and whenever he's getting early work, I'm going to go out there and work with him.
Working on the bunt plays, that's always a challenge for a first baseman as well.
Yeah, exactly.
A chance for two here. Masonette to Ferris, and the Brewers turn it up with their brand new infield. It goes 6-4-3 on the double play. Visiting with Matt Gamel. Ron Roenicke was talking about you today, Matt, in his meeting with the press, and talking about how different you look, first of all, physically. Tell us about your offseason and some of the workout regimen you were involved in this offseason, because you do have a different shape about you. You said you lost a 9-year-old earlier today.
Yeah.
Great line.
What's that, about 30 pounds?
Yeah, probably around there.
Well, what was that like? Tell us about it. What'd you do?
Just ate better and just worked hard. A little bit of everything, really.
It's good to see that you're in good shape. Bouncing ball to second. Ferris will make the play. Matt, good luck to you. We wish you the best.
Appreciate it, guys.
He is a man of few words, but he's going to have a big role at first base this year. Matt Gamel. Here at Maryville. I like the way they carry some of the Miller Park traditions here.
They got it.
Makes you feel right at home.
Yeah.
Sausage races, roll out the barrel, and the spring training version of the team store. Always a popular spot. Athletics with the lead. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. Caleb Gendel will lead off. Brewers made a ton of changes last inning. But our visit with Matt Gamel and a very quick inning with a double play.
Speak softly and carry a big stick, Matty. Just keep things close to the vest.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him.
Give away all his trade secrets to the likes of you and I.
I don't blame him. You got to get your questions ready in rapid fire mode with Matt Gamel. Well, he's got a big responsibility, though. I know Brewers coaching staff, you see the wind picking up a great deal. They're trying to downplay it as much as they can, keep Gamel in a part of the order, and they're hoping, obviously, losing Corey Hart, and he's out with knee surgery, had knee surgery today. It is a minor knee surgery, if there is such a thing. He should be back in less than a month. But if Hart's unable to come back for opening day, then that'll change Roenicke's lineup with Gamel a little bit. And ideally, the manager would like to have Gamel toward the bottom of the order just to so he doesn't have to feel the burden of replacing Prince Fielder.
Yeah, well, he can't really come into the season and try and do that. I mean, he's just got to be the player that he has been in AAA, but now he's going to be asked to do it at the big league level. And a lot of expectations and a lot riding on Matt Gem. I mean, a little bit of pressure on the young man, and you hope that he's going to be able to handle it.
As Gendel fouls it back, Godfrey's back out there for his second inning of work. I think the start that Gamel gets off to will be huge. Everybody wants to start well. But veteran guys who have been there and have produced, it's a little easier to take for them. Corey Hart's a great example. Got off to such a slow start last year. But for Gamel especially, I think the start he gets off to will be indicative of the way the season will go.
Get that confidence in himself, and get confidence from the organization. And yeah, you're right. I mean, he's not going to have to hit 350. Just get off to a decent start, drive in some runs, play good, solid defensive first base.
A liner right to the shortstop. Gendel is retired. He has certainly changed his physique. I know he didn't have much to say about it, but it is clearly obvious.
Yeah, that was funny. We were down on the field right before the game, and you asked, how much did you lose? How many pounds did you lose? He said, I lost a 9-year-old. About 40 pounds, 35 pounds, right? But he's a funny guy.
It's kind of like that Looney Tunes frog, as Zealous Wheeler bounces out, 2 gone in the inning. Remember that frog?
The singing frog?
Yeah, and he would perform, but when anybody would show up and actually watch him, he wouldn't. Right. He would just ribbit.
So when he has a headset on, don't expect him to be the funny guy that he is in the clubhouse.
He's not that.
A lot of people like that,
We knew that. We knew that.
Just the opposite with you and I.
That's right. I don't say a word.
Quiet.
When we're off the air, I don't even speak. It's Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa, very slick fielding first baseman.
May go on the 2-man advantage for $16. Get a Brewers ticket to select April home games and a ticket to the Milwaukee Admirals game on March 30th. Visit Brewers.com/Admirals. You get it? 2-man advantage?
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Hockey. Very slick.
Bouncing ball. And Timmons makes the play. 3 up and 3 down. Remember that frog? There he is, the frog. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Right top down.
for the Oakland A's. Unearned runs, scored 3 in the 6th. Giovanni Gallardo started. He was impressive. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment of the game. Rocky went 2 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts. Threw a couple of breaking balls in there as well today, which is nice to see in the first start. Must mean he's feeling good.
Mostly fastballs, some curveballs, a couple of change-ups, and typical Giovanni Gallardo outing.
Got a new pitcher for the Brewers, Daniel Meadows. And a Hall of Famer joining us in the dugout, Robin Yount. Always great to see you in a Brewers uniform. It just fits so perfectly.
Well, Brian, it's always good to be in a Brewers uniform. when I put the headset on, I heard something about changeups and curveballs, and I stayed mainly with my fastball today.
You did fine with curveballs and changeups, yeah. But what do they got you doing? Typical spring training for Robin?
Yeah, typical spring training for Robin. Not much. I enjoy being around the guys. You know, I chime in once in a while if I think I can help, but more often than not, an extra fungo hitter, and I keep itching to throw batting practice, but for 2 years now they haven't let me, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, tell us about your emotions as you watch the Brewers into September and into the postseason. It had to do your heart well. Felt good, huh?
Well, it sure did, you know. That's why we play the game. You know, I know that sounds silly and it's an old cliche, but you know what? There's nothing like the postseason, and you know, especially when the Brewers are in it.
Visiting with Robin Yount. Always great to hear from Robin, especially at this part of the ball game. And I know you downplay your role here, but Ron Roenicke thinks you have a big role, and he reached out to you last year, wanted you here. It's more than just a ceremonial. Here's a former player and a Hall of Famer. I mean, you have a big role and a responsibility here, and Ron Roenicke loves having you around. How about that relationship between you and the second-year Brewers manager now?
Well, I wouldn't agree with the big role part, but no, I'm very fortunate. Ron did ask me to come out last spring. I just love being out here with the guys. Let's face it. Anytime I get an opportunity to put a Brewer uniform on and come to spring training with this staff, you know, I said it a couple of times last year. Last spring was the best spring training I've ever been involved with, and obviously there's been a few. This spring so far has been no different. The effort out of the guys, the organization of what the coaches do around here is as good as I've ever seen. And when opening day comes around, I guarantee you these guys will be ready.
Is there something specific, Robin, that you could share with us? You know, where there's a moment where you say, okay, that is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, I don't even know the structure of a spring training, but what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't either. I was a bench coach once, and that's supposed to be part of your job, and I passed that on to somebody else. But all I know is how smoothly things are run. The guys get all their work in. The effort that's put in by everybody. Sometimes, let's face it, spring training can get long and monotonous. And, you know, last spring it never felt like that. There's something these guys are doing to keep the guys interested day in and day out, and they're willing to show up and give it everything they got each and every day.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to be honest, but it'd be nice. Now
I rarely am, Rock.
Yeah, right. But you're great friends with Dale Swaim.
That I am.
Were there any conversations between you and Dale about you heading over to the Chicago Cubs?
There was a conversation. It was very, very short. Dale knows me. Dale knows me well enough to know that if my brother was managing the Chicago Cubs, I wouldn't go over there with him. My position is going to be. I did spend a short time in a Diamondback uniform, but that was a one-time deal to try to see if I could figure this coaching stuff out. But the plan was to always get back in a Brewer uniform, and I can tell you right now, there will never be me in another one. Although that's a little bit of a lie, because I probably will put a Chinooks uniform on here. The Lakeshore Chinooks, the college team we have this summer, I may show up in our new uniform to introduce that. But other than that, you'll never see me in another professional uniform.
That's
other
all right.
than a Brewers.
They don't play the Brewers anyway.
No, not yet.
Yeah, you know, Robert, we were talking about Aoki and the challenges that he's going to have, you know, as a career center fielder moving over to right field. And I know that you had to deal with the same thing. You were a left fielder, then moved to center. Talk about the differences in those positions.
Well, I was only a left fielder for about a week, I think, and I was so bad out there they tried to find somewhere else to put me, and it ended up being center. But You know, I don't think for a natural outfielder it's going to be that big of a deal. You know, I think he's been an outfielder as far as I understand, probably his whole all of his baseball playing days. So I think you can tell just by watching him run around here that he's a great athlete. I don't see any problems with him playing any of the outfield positions.
Robin, we're hearing a lot about some of these young arms, minor league arms, prospect arms that are close to big league ready. Have you had a chance to see any of these guys? Can you add to that?
I don't have enough knowledge in that area to try to judge them, but I know for sure that we've got some top draft picks that I've seen. You know, short term, we're just starting games here, so I've only seen them in batting practice situations. That certainly have the arms and makeup to someday be major league pitchers. We got a pretty good major league staff as we speak right now. So whether any of them will get an opportunity this year, I'm not sure. That's not my call, but I know there are some good young arms in the organization.
Visiting with Robin Yount here, and it's great to visit with you, especially at this time of a game. And I know you look forward to this time of year as well. Now, your schedule, you typically do most of your work before the game. We see you for home games.
Yes.
But you're with the team every day, though, correct?
Most of them, yeah. I've got a couple obligations that won't allow me to be here, but for the most part, I'm out here every day, yes.
All right, Robin. Well, thanks for your time. Always great to see you, and that number 19 looks perfect as always on your back. So we enjoyed being with you.
You're very kind, Brian. I think you need to get your eyes checked out. But thank you.
Robin Yount.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Robin. So that was one of the things, Rock, that Ron Roenicke did right away is to start to tap into some of the former Brewers, and that's the place to start.
Right.
That man right there, the kid.
You start with the kid, then Gorman and Jim Gantner come down as later on in spring.
This year, Jeff Jenkins spent a week with the Brewers working with the outfielders, and it was his first year upon retirement to do that. So I had a chance to see Jeff, and he was excited for the opportunity to come out and be a part of the ball club again, be a part of the Brewers family again. I think if nothing else, presence alone with Robin Yount, because I'm not sure there's anybody who carries as much respect that these players, the Brewers players, would come in contact with on a daily basis, and I'm talking about inside the clubhouse, than this guy.
And if a young player goes up to Robin and asks an opinion on his game, Robin's going to be honest with him, and he's not one of those guys that's going to continue to talk in your ear, but when he speaks, he commands that respect. And why wouldn't you use the services of Robin Yount if he's in the dugout down there? And he does a nice job of containing and making sure Ed Cedar behaves himself.
That's true. He's doing well right now. Ed Cedar is the man who is in charge of camp. Obviously his job has changed a little bit now that games have started, but Ed's one of the best in the business, and he put together the workout schedule, and he was kind enough to allow me up in his tower last week. Bouncer Wheeler stays right there with it, and they get the out at second base. That was terrific on both ends. Wheeler standing tough with a hot smash to third base, and Ferris making the play on the throw.
Yeah, there have been some hard-hit baseballs in this inning. Wheeler stays with it. Look at the play by Ferris, able to keep the toe in the bag and control the baseball. That's not an easy play. Wheeler with a tough hop, and look at the adjustment that Ferris has to make at second base. He's a good one. Good defensive infielder.
Haven't had a lot of time to talk about Daniel Meadows, left-hander coming up through the Brewers system as he faces Cedric Hunter. But he's another guy that is impressing this spring. Doug Melvin was raving about Meadows and his ability, a left-hander. He's got a chance to be one of those situational type left-handers. Good breaking ball.
Yeah, used predominantly out of the bullpen between AA and AAA last year. Had a 6-4 record combined. Really did well in Double-A. Struggled a bit at the Triple-A level. Yeah, but he's 24 years old.
2 outs, runners at the corners here. And that one did miss by much. Ball and 2 strikes. Daniel Meadows. We were told in previous years about the wave of pitchers that are coming, and obviously we didn't see much of them in spring training. We read a lot about them throughout the season, but now they're starting to surface, and nearly at that point, big league ready. Well done, Meadows. Works around a couple of hits. Terrific defense in that inning for the Brew Crew. Spring training telecast in the Cactus League. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Fox Sports Wisconsin. Andrew Kerrigan is the new Oakland pitcher. And the score is not where the Brewers want it, but we've enjoyed all of our dugout visits today. And thanks to Mike Vasallo, who has been arranging the interviews and harassing the coaching staff. There's Mike. It's a beautiful shade of pink this time of year, Mike Vasallo.
He loves being on camera. How about those sunglasses?
Those are free.
Got the Brewer glasses. No, actually, he said he paid for them.
No chance he paid for those. Not a chance.
You can smile, Mike.
Director of Media Relations, and he's done a great job helping us out, translating when necessary. So here we go to the home eighth. And it'll be Martin Maldonado leading off, the Brewer catcher. There's a lot of things I like about Ron Roenicke as you look at the numbers on Kerrigan last season. But one of the things I really like about him is he makes straight up changes in spring training.
Right.
Position for position.
Why
and he
wouldn't
usually
you?
does them in a line change format. So, you know, it's usually everybody comes in together. And it's very, very comfortable for a broadcaster to do that.
Now, how high amongst all the things you like about Ron?
That's probably, you know, 37 on the list, I'd say.
In spring training, that's number one.
Right now, it's number one. That is a mess. Messy scorecard. But it's easy to keep track. I always wondered about the circles colored in. Last at bat?
Last out.
Last out of the inning?
Yep.
So as you go down, those circles get filled in. A little flare, nice play out there at second base from Wes Timmons.
So basically at the end of the day, you don't want to look at that scorecard and see 3 circles by your name.
Right. I get it. Oh.
That's not good.
I see. Anybody have 2 today, I wonder? See some, Brooks Conrad, huh? So correct, Brooks Conrad made the last out in the 2nd inning and then the 5th inning. So 2 circles by your name and in 2 at-bats.
You didn't trust me?
No, it was just being revealed in my mind that.
Okay. Well, you knew that.
Oh, I didn't. I wanted to hear the explanation. There's Eric Ferris. Saw a little bit of Ferris last season. Slick fielding second baseman. And a line shot right to third. Donaldson makes a play for the 2nd out. Hit it well. Now in the regular season, those kind of at-bats infuriate a hitter. But in spring training, they actually keep a detailed book on well-hit balls, line drives. Johnny and Aaron is the new Brewers hitting coach, and that counts for scoreboard in spring training if it means anything.
Right.
Doesn't show up in the stats.
There's been a lot of hard hit outs, by both teams for that matter today. Brewers have hit some line drives right at infielders.
Brock Kelgard at the plate, a pitcher turned position player in the Brewers system. It's not an easy transition to make. They found out he was a hitter down in low A ball. They would allow pitchers to take batting practice on Sunday just to keep things lively. Pitchers don't hit at that level. You don't start hitting as a pitcher if you're in the National League system until Double-A. But they'd let him hit, and Kelgard would put on a show. I mean, they say, would hit him 400 feet, and all of a sudden they started talking about him as a potential position player prospect, so he made the switch.
You don't see that very often, pitcher to position player. It's quite common the other way around.
Rick Ankiel, probably the most famous that comes to mind.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, by the way, Babe Ruth. He's more famous than Rick Ankiel. Good call, Rock. Sam Musial. Wisconsin 4-0. The Athletics lead the Brewers. And speaking of camp, and because of this great endorsement that Robin Yount has just given Ed Cedar, we thought we'd put him on a headset since you got nothing else going on. Ed, thanks for joining us here. Great to have you. How has camp gone? You're the man in charge of putting all the pieces together.
Camp's been going very well. And before we go any further, I'd like to shout out to Marcia and Squirt.
Well done. Should you explain who Squirt is?
Fiance and dog.
Okay. Fiance and dog.
In that order.
That's a good thing. All right. Congratulations on that. You got that out of the way.
Okay. So I'm in.
You invited me up to your tower, your air horn tower last week. I wrote a blog about it and pumped you out. Everybody's talking about how great camp is. But I want to know specifically why Brewers camp, everybody raves about it. What is it exactly? I mean, why does it go so well as opposed to any other major league club?
I would say because all of us are in it together. You know, I get ideas, of course, from Ron, and then from all the rest of the coaches and actually players at times. We're all going to ask them stuff, and then before I finalize it, going to Ron, and then he says it's okay, and we're ready to go.
Timmons with a base hit to right, dropping in front of Kelgard. Robin Yount was talking about camp and the fact that everybody comes to the ballpark, players now, and they play hard and they're enthusiastic and it goes by fast. And I know there's a schedule in place. Can you lay it out about the days off and how you keep guys fresh?
Trying to get the days off. But one thing we don't do a lot of is standing around. Like you stated, Bri, you were up there and you saw, looks like a lot of commotion going on, but everyone knows where they're going. We get through things quick, and then, you know, they hit and then they're done. They think they like that. They also like knowing Ron does a great job of letting them know when they're going to have easy days, letting them know they're going to have days off, and they know on those other days they're going to come and work hard.
Now, Eddie, it has to feel good. I mean, you're off season after the Brewers, went to the NLCS. I mean, you've been in the Brewers organization, what is it, 20 years now?
Correct.
I mean, you've been through the minor league system. You've been in the different roles at the big league level. How good was your off season this year?
Oh, great off season, and looking forward to doing it again, because it was kind of fun.
Yeah, we've been talking all day about the center fielders and the talent that this organization has in center field. Aoki, you've got Morgan, you've got Gomez, and now you've got Logan Schaefer out there in center field. So you got a lot of depth in that position. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, we do. We got a lot of good defensive depth, and that's kind of nice knowing if something happens, some kind of injury, we have people that can come in and fill their shoes.
Now, as far as seeing the signs, how much of a problem was it for you last night? You had a night game in Scottsdale. Of course, you were at the third base dugout. That helps a little bit. But how's the glasses situation this year for you?
The glasses are going well. Last night it actually wasn't very, very good because the lighting wasn't so good. I was getting a glare. Probably have to shout out to the Oakley people and try and come up with something else, too.
That helps. That helps.
That'd be the second Oakley reference of the day. You and K-Rod. You need to talk to K-Rod.
Okay, because I had to pay for mine.
And Mike Vasallo said he paid for his as well, and we don't believe.
No, I'm calling Mike. I'm calling Mike got his free. Hey, did your guys' meal money change or anything?
Meal money?
Yeah, because I noticed Mike, I don't know if you guys noticed, or maybe it's the camera that's doing it, but it looks like he gained a little weight this offseason.
Maybe he stole some of Matt Gamel's weight.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they traded.
Visiting with Ed Cedar. There's a base hit. And runs are coming in for Oakland. One is in, another will stop. And it's starting to develop into a rough inning for Meadows. So back to business, though, Ed. As you guys move forward and things change when games begin, jobs that are available, and how do you guys go about the evaluation process as far as cuts and as you get towards opening day? What would that be like?
There's already process has already started where we have our set guys, and then we're looking at all the other guys that could be on the roster. But the process has already started. We go over it at times, and soon I got to believe the first cut should be coming up. But it's already been talked about, thrown out by the front office, our coaching staff, and Ron brings up names to watch almost every day.
We talked about some of this young pitching, and we saw Thornburg today, Tyler Thornburg. But give us your perspective on Taylor Youngman and Jed Bradley at this point.
Good arms. Actually, Jed threw today on the backfield. His first batting practice, threw quite well. And Youngman was kind of dominating in our inter-squad game. So things are bright down there in the future as far as arms, and then not even to mention Peralta and the rest of them.
Great. Ed Cedar, Brewers third base coach, camp coordinator. We appreciate your time, and we'll keep a camera on you the rest of this inning, and we'll show how you create enthusiasm. So do something enthusiastic for us.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Eddie.
Okay.
Thanks, Ed.
Bye.
Ed Cedar, always the guy who – you always need a guy who's going to make some noise and, create a little energy when it gets there's a lull.
Yeah. I mean, in between innings, the Brewers come off the field. He's the first one up there clapping the hands and getting them going. And not that the other coaches do that, but for some reason, Ed Cedar's voice carries very well.
It's much too broad of a back to have a single-digit number, 6.
But again, you know, Eddie, 20 years in the Brewers organization. He's been a coach now for, what, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
And heck of a coach at that.
Off the end of the bat, Masonette to first. Well, the first out, a run is in. 2 runs are in the inning for the A's. It's now 6-0. Ed brings a great perspective from a guy who was in the minor leagues. Matter of fact, the new hitting coach for the Brewers, Johnny Naron, he and Ed were coaches together in the lower minor leagues. Ron Roenicke on his way to the mound to make a pitching change. So Daniel Meadows is out. We'll take a break. 6-0 Oakland as we play in the 9th. Never been able to do at Miller Park. That is hang a division championship pennant in the National League. The Brewers winning the Central Division in 2011, the first division championship in 29 years. Got to go all the way back to the 82 Brewers, the American League East champions at the time, and the Brewers now the reigning NL Central champions. And that logo is prominently and proudly displayed. Great to see it, and fans will get a chance to see that opening day this year as Vinny Chalk takes over. Chris Carter flies out to right for the second out, and advancing on the play is Choice. So 6-0 Athletics. We're in the 9th inning in our Cactus League debut on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Vinny Chalk trying to finish up this 9th inning. Had a great day today. It's enjoyable, different kind of broadcast for us, of course, as we're interviewing a lot of players and taking you in the dugout. Terrific job, our crew here, our Phoenix-based crew, setting up our headsets and all the audio engineering it takes to get those headsets down there, and the technology that goes to it. Our producer is Chris Withers, director Michael Odino. Appreciate all their efforts today. Six nothing A's. The Brewers have just one hit. That was a double by Lucroy in the 2nd inning. See the numbers. Vinny Chalk, he was in this Oakland organization last year. He pitched in Sacramento. Josh Donaldson started this game, trying to go the distance. You don't see many Cactus League games this low scoring, you know, with this many, this few hits, I should say. A one-hit game at this point.
Man, a lot of times early in spring, no matter where you are, pitchers always seem to be a bit ahead of hitters. I think that pitchers on their side sessions is a little bit truer to what they do in the field as opposed to hitters. Brewers banged out 7 runs in last night's ball game, and most of that damage coming late, 6th inning on.
As a swing and a miss, Chalk strikes out Josh Donaldson to win the inning. To the bottom of the 9th, last call for the Crew. Known as a hitters league, but today the only hit was this Jonathan Lucroy double. He also lined out. He is Wendy's at the plate today. The only safety today for Milwaukee. They've been shut out on a one-hitter. Matter of fact, there have been only 3 base runners today for the Brewers. And the Lucroy double, Ricky Weeks drew a walk, as did Cesar Torres. That's been it.
Yeah, Lucroy is 3 for 4 to start spring training. And not a bad start.
I think he's going to have a big year. The way he's swinging the bat. Edwin Masonette will lead off. New pitcher for Oakland, Jerry Blevins. The Brewers will be in Glendale tomorrow against the White Sox. We'll have that game for you on Brewers.com. You dial into your computer. Rock and I will call the game from Glendale, Arizona, out west. Brewers White Sox tomorrow. It'll pop up. Easy play for Carter, first out of the inning. Giovanni Gallardo is our Menards player of the game today. 2 scoreless. Great start for him, his first spring training start, and 4 strikeouts. Earlier today, Ron Roenicke said, I'm not going to name an opening day starter for a while. It's not what I do. I want to keep my options open, but as it tracks now, if you want to do the math, then Gallardo is tracking to an opening day start. But that's if all things are normal, healthy, and I think that's why the manager's a little suspect to announce his opening day starter.
Yeah, deserves it, certainly. 30 pitches today in 2 innings, and looked very good coming off a 17-win season.
Jeff Bianchi, the batter for Milwaukee. Had an adventurous tour around the bases yesterday in Scottsdale against the Giants, which was not so subtly brought up in their team meeting this morning.
Man, you got to tip your hat to the kid. I mean, there was 2 outs, a routine fly to left field. He was at first base. He was running 100%, running hard, and just kind of lost his balance and ended up doing a face plant right in the beginning of the circle, the cutout around home plate, but was able to crawl and scored. So it all ended well for him.
A little panic sets in, I would imagine. And now he and Ryan Braun have something in common. Except Braun didn't score. The Yankee down on strikes, and the Brewers down to their last out here in Maryville. Logan Schaefer will bat. And Schaefer on the first pitch. There's a base hit. That's going to go to the wall. Schaefer, who can fly, is on his way to third base. And it's going to be a 2-out triple for Schaefer. Fans haven't had a lot to cheer about today.
Yeah, lefty versus lefty, and Schaefer didn't mess around. He got a fastball, and check it out, right down the middle, around the knees, and just dropped the head of the bat on it, and the second hit from Milwaukee today.
And a triple with 2 away. See if the Brewers can scratch one across today. Here is Caleb Gendel. By the way, we are looking forward to a busy weekend with the Brewers and their sponsors. All the sponsors are coming in. Big sponsor weekend here. The Brewers have home games if you're planning a trip out here. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all here at Maryville. Brewers will see the White Sox tomorrow, the Reds, the Indians. The Cubs are coming in on Saturday the 10th. And then the Rockies will be here on the 11th. Always a great time to have the sponsors here and a big group. A lot of festivities going on.
And the Brewers really do it up for their sponsors. A nice event.
Brewers down to their last strike. And Gendel swings and misses. And that's a ball game. So the A's win it today, 6-0. They go to 4-2. Rock, great way to get started today, except for the scoreboard. It was fun being with you again.
The wins and losses are nice, but you always want to win. But good showing from Giovanni Gallardo. So some of the young Brewer pitchers, and just one of those days at the old ballpark. Not much going on offensively.
All right, spring training off and running in week 1. Our final score today from Maryville: Oakland 6, Milwaukee 0. Spring training returns to Fox Sports Wisconsin March 20th, 3 p.m. Central. The Brewers will battle the Dodgers. Opening day is just 1 month away. We'll be on the air starting at 2 p.m. Central opening day with a special edition of Brewers Live. For Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Thanks to our terrific crew here in Phoenix. And thanks for watching. Have a great night. 6-0 A's.